Welcome back to Quid Pros Quo. I'm Isa.
And I'm Rin.
And this week we will be talking about avoiding writer's burnout, especially during NaNoWriMo.
So, my first piece of advice is to set a schedule with a good balance of rigidity and flexibility. Blech, that's a hard word. We're doing great already.
Fantastic.
I have a writing block in my calendar and I need to expand it for November. And so I have enough time to write the 1,667 words. But a block that you have that time blocked out, so nothing else disturbs you during that time, is just so helpful. But also know that you can move the block if you need to. You don't have to be writing at 6 a.m. every single day.
Oh my gosh!
Probably what I'll be doing.
Oh my word!
Yeah, I need to start getting up early if I'm going to do that.
The struggle is real.
The struggle is so real. College is so hard. But you can write at 6 a.m. one morning, then maybe at 6 p.m. the next day.
You know what? That's true. That's true. It does help to set aside specific time to write, and then you just start, associating that as here's a real task on my calendar, and I have to do this because it's on my to-do list, basically. That is very helpful to get into that mindset of I have an appointment. It's called writing for an hour.
Exactly. It has to be priority. It's so important to make writing a priority, especially during NaNoWriMo.
How would you say that you feel burnout most? How does that manifest?
I have no energy to write, and right now I'm burnt out writing on my current project, and I'm just I don't have the motivation to write. I don't really want to write that story. And I think it's mostly because I'm already anticipating NaNoWriMo, and I'm so excited to work on my next story that I'm why would I make progress on this one when I really should be focusing on getting ready for NaNoWriMo? Which is maybe not the healthiest way to treat my writing habits, but that's something I can work on and improve, because that's all what writing is about, improving.
That's true. That is true. So when you personally feel burnt out, what do you have to do before you're back and ready to be writing again, or at least just generally working on a project?
Generally switching my mindset or what I'm working on is really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
When I burnt out on my writing project before my current one, I brought up Pinterest, and I went and found some writing prompts, and I just started brainstorming whole novels from one little writing prompt. And then I took one of those writing prompt ideas, and the exercise was just make the ideas and get my creative juices flowing again. But then I came up with one idea that was just so good that I was I can't just leave this be. And so it evolved into my next project while I let Aaron Ascending get a rest.
That's honestly a good way to get the creative juices flowing. When you're burnt out and you don't feel like going on, and you just need to get re-inspired. I think those writing exercises or writing prompts.
Yes.
That's definitely a good tip.
Yes, definitely. How about you? How does burnout manifest in you or your writing, and what do you do to get rid of it?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I feel generally I don't experience a hard oh my gosh, I'm done with this project, can't write another word. It's a soft burnout. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm making it one. That's just how I can describe it best. I just, sometimes it's not I'll get disenchanted with something that I'm working on exactly. It's more along the lines of I have this thing and it's no longer this big priority to me. Maybe it doesn't take up as much space at the forefront of my mind anymore, and so I'm not focused on it. It's not even in the periphery, and then I'm well, I guess this is kind of a thing that I'm doing, but I just keep shoving it to the side over and over again.
I totally get that.
And so it's this kind of soft burnout that I suffer from all the time. And so I think for me is when I feel like that, I sometimes have to be okay, what did I love about this project at the beginning? What drew me to it in the first place?
Yeah.
If I still have a crappy rough draft around, or a crappy outline, or first notes or whatever, sometimes I'll try my best to dig those back up and be what was I thinking? Where was I coming from that gave me the energy in the first place? And if I can kind of channel that back into like where I'm at now on a project,
Mm-hmm.
that usually can like push me into like a good direction where I actually have energy to keep thinking about it and generating work.
That's like so smart, just like getting back into the mindset of like that creative mindset where you were like so excited about it and having such a good time. That's fantastic.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Like, I just think, like, yes, it is possible to, like, run into a wall with a project where, like, you're literally like, I have to set this aside, possibly for good. But I think in general, most things, like, why would you have entertained it for so long if it wasn't exciting to you at some point? Like, what was that? And then how can I put that back into my work currently? And then that usually, like, maybe it doesn't, like, fix it so it's the same as it was before the burnout happened.
Yeah.
But, like, it takes it back to, like, the same level of energy or something, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not always, like, easy to return to that, but, like, it can happen.
Yes, I totally get that. My next piece of advice is to make a plan, and not just to, like, get through your novel, which is important, but to, like, get through November. And this goes in to, like, you can have a plan for your novel, but if you don't have a plan to get through, like, the middle of November where you're, like, so tired and you're in, like, the middle of the novel and everything's, like, maybe not as exciting as it is at the beginning and you're not at the climax yet, you need to, like, have a plan to, like, get through November. Like, when I'm writing, I'm going to, for example, I'm going to have a cup of cocoa or tea next to me or coffee or whatever is your favorite warm drink. And it's, like, every time I hit 1,000-word mark, I'll get to finish my cup of whatever. Yeah. Which also helps keep you hydrated.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, giving yourself little, like, rewards along the way is a good way to incentivize yourself to, like, get through and kind of, like, delay the burnout a bit.
Exactly.
Like, it just encourages you to, like, push until you get there, and then you're like, well, there's another goal in sight. I can get to that. So I definitely think that, like, chunking something down into, like, small goals, whether it's word count or, like, next story beat, or, like, if you're like, oh, gosh, like, in another, I don't know, a few thousand words, like, this thing is supposed to happen. Well, maybe you write until that thing, or you just put that immediately and you just start working there from on, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody said that you have to do your NaNoWriMo project in chronological reading order.
Yes, it's true.
Which is so important. That's one thing that I also think is super nice for helping with burnout, is that you can let yourself jump around. Like,
yes, and you can write whatever you want and whatever is fun.
Absolutely. Because, like, if there is a scene that's, like, ready to be written and you're excited about it and you've got the energy, it's like, keep channeling it onto the page and write that scene and, like, you know, take a break from whatever. It's like what you said earlier about switching between projects.
Yes.
Except you're just switching between
in the
moments
project.
in one project.
Yes, that makes so much sense.
And so, like, yeah, you can definitely translate a lot of these things over into, like, different scopes of work.
Yes, absolutely. Then last thing we wanted to talk about was self-care, because it's not just for after you burn out, it's for before you burn out so you don't burn out.
I know. A lot of people definitely look forward to the end of NaNoWriMo when they're finally like, oh, I've got this big weight off my shoulders and, like, now I can relax. It's like, if you're tense the entire month, like, if you've reached this point in November and you are, like, just, like, a ball of nerves and you're, like, anxious about finishing writing a novel, that can only be detrimental to you. Like, I know some people work well under pressure,
yes,
but, like, you have to, like, give yourself chances to, like, breathe and take a break and just, like, recenter.
Exactly, because, like, NaNoWriMo is not just supposed to be incredibly productive, it's supposed to be fun. Like, writing a novel is so fun. Like, you gotta, like, take all these, like, words and ideas from your brain and put them down on paper or a laptop screen, and it's truly something magical. Like, and here's the thing, if doing NaNoWriMo takes the fun out of it for you, then you shouldn't be doing NaNoWriMo. If NaNoWriMo is just going to make you burn out and hate your novel and yourself, like, don't do it. But some major self-care points that you need to be doing during like NaNoWriMo, at least from my point of view, is you need to be sleeping enough. So don't stay up till the middle of the night updating your word count, because that's going to be detrimental for you the next day. Unless you're a night owl and you do your best writing at night, then don't get up too early in the morning to write. Drink water, stay hydrated, and eat food. Your body needs nourishment, and your brain is part of your body, and your brain cannot make words go if you are not nourished.
That is true. That is true. Without like good sleep and water and nourishment, your brain will be fatigued, and that will not just affect your performance in NaNoWriMo, but your overall performance in life, day to day.
That's so true.
With just like ordinary tasks.
Yeah, unless you're already a full-time author, you are doing stuff besides NaNoWriMo during NaNoWriMo. Like, unless you are Brandon Sanderson and you are spending like 12 hours a day writing, like, it's just not feasible to do only NaNoWriMo.
That's true. That's true. So, yeah, self-care can definitely, like, keep you in good dialogue with, like, your body and how, and your mind too. Like, how are you doing? And then that can, like, help mitigate a lot of the burnout that you would otherwise feel.
Yes.
Like, having those, like, natural check-in points of self-care just allows you to keep, like, just, I don't know, just, like, keeping in touch with yourself like that, and just, like, what do you need, and do you really, like, do you need a break right now? Like, do you need more water? Like, how are you doing, like, just, like, in life in general? And, you know, like, if you just, like, have those moments, then you're reducing stress, and you're reducing just, like, I don't know, like, all these other, like, things that lead to burnout can totally be, like, lessened by self-care.
Yes.
So you'll be less likely to be like, wow, like I hate my work, and like I'm not writing enough, and I just can't do it.
Yeah.
It will definitely be relaxed through self-care.
Yeah, because, like, recovering from burnout after burnout, like, that's good, but you know what's even better? Just not burning out in the first place, because you're taking good enough care of yourself that you don't need to burn out.
That is true. And if you ever do need to set a project aside and work on something else, like, that doesn't automatically make it burnout. Sometimes it's a very responsible choice to be like, you know what, I do need a break. Even though I am, like, have been very productive, I just need a break.
Yeah.
And that's good too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's recap what we talked about. First, you should set a schedule with a good balance of rigidity and flexibility. Second, you should make a plan not only to get through your novel, but to get through November. And third, we talked about self-care and how it's not just for after you burn out.
Yeah, remember to take breaks and to check in with how you're doing.
Exactly. Next time, we'll be talking about how to refill your creative reservoir at any point, not just during NaNoWriMo. But I'm Rin.
And I'm Isa.
This has been Quid Pros Quo. See you next week.